What if I told you that one decision by the current administration may have accelerated the decline of American economic dominance by decades? Not a recession, not a market crash, something far more fundamental. Stay with me, because what is unfolding right now could affect your wallet, your retirement, and America's place in the world. We need to talk about what just happened in Venezuela. The seizure of President Nicolas Maduro has triggered a chain reaction that reaches far beyond geopolitics. It strikes at the foundation of U.S. power itself, the dollar. For decades, America's real superpower hasn't been its military. It has been the dollar. Nearly 80% of global trade is settled in U.S. currency. Oil is priced in dollars. Debt is issued in dollars. Nations stockpile dollars. But that system is now under pressure. The administration's aggressive tariffs have disrupted global trade, raised consumer prices, and kept inflation high. Manufacturing has contracted for 10 straight months. Tens of thousands of jobs are gone, and the dollar is weakening. At the same time, the world is building alternatives. At the latest BRICS summit, leaders announced a new digital settlement system backed by gold and national currencies. China, India, Russia, Brazil, and their partners are developing a parallel financial network that does not rely on the dollar. This is not theory. It is infrastructure. Now consider Venezuela. Despite U.S. sanctions, Venezuelan oil never stopped flowing. It simply moved to new buyers and new currencies. China and India now purchase most of its oil using yuan and local settlements. Every barrel sold without dollars weakens the petrodollar system. Then came the intervention. Instead of negotiating, lifting sanctions, or securing energy through trade, the U.S. moved to seize control. The message to the world was clear: challenge the dollar and face consequences. But the message may have backfired. Latin America is accelerating trade deals with Europe. Asia is expanding digital payment networks. Nations are stockpiling gold instead of dollars. Trust is eroding. The dollar has already fallen sharply from its recent peak. A weaker dollar makes debt more expensive, imports pricier, and inflation harder to control. And in 2026, the United States must refinance nearly $9 trillion in Treasury debt. That requires massive foreign demand for dollars. But demand only exists if the world keeps trading in them. This is why Venezuela matters. This is why BRICS matters. This is why the global order is shifting faster than anyone expected. De-dollarization was once a slow, distant threat. Now it is accelerating. If oil begins trading outside the dollar system, if trade blocs bypass U.S. markets, if reserve holdings continue to diversify, then America's financial advantage erodes. Growth slows, asset prices fall, the engine that powers the economy loses fuel. This is not about ideology. It is about leverage. The United States built the modern financial system. It benefited from it for generations. But systems only survive on trust, and trust is fragile. History shows that reserve currencies rise and fall with empires. The Dutch guilder once ruled global trade. Then the British pound. Each faded when confidence faded. The dollar has lasted longer than anyone expected. But it is not immortal. When countries fear sanctions, tariffs, seizures, and political pressure, they search for safety. And safety today looks like independence from the American financial system. This is why central banks are buying record amounts of gold. This is why digital currencies backed by commodities are gaining traction. This is why payment systems are being redesigned from the ground up. The world is preparing for a future where Washington is no longer the center of global finance. And once that shift reaches critical mass, there is no easy way back. The greatest risk is not collapse, it is replacement. Slow, quiet, and irreversible. The clock is already ticking. What happens next will define the next generation of American prosperity or decline. Policy choices today will echo for decades. The world is watching, and it is moving. Power is shifting from old institutions to new networks, from centralized control to decentralized systems, from dominance to competition, and the transition has already begun. Every nation is choosing its future partners now. Every deal signed today redraws tomorrow's map. This is the moment historians will point to as the turning point. and most people will never realize it until it is already over, because the biggest shifts happen quietly, right in front of everyone, and by the time they are visible, it is too late. Watch